That like? Did you actually run with them? We saw the picture. I imagine you actually did. What was that like?
It was a great experience. I always wanted to do it. It fit my schedule this year, and literally was in Pamplona for less than 24 hours. Went over, saw the course on Friday, kind of scouted it out a little bit, used our analytical coaching analysis of where we should be, and then put a game plan together in our heads, get up the next morning, and took off and ran, and did not run any way that we planned. But it was fun. It was a good experience. I've always wanted to do it, and something to do.
What was the plan, and what did you end up doing?
The plan was that we didn't want to stay. You want to stay out of the middle. When you get to the turns, you want to be on the inside of the turn because the bulls run wide. And when the first rocket went off, that's when the first bull's on the course. Second rocket goes off, they're all on the course. And then everything just breaks loose, and everybody's running in a different direction. So spent most of the time running down the middle. Had to get to the side a couple times because the bulls were coming through. But it was fun. It was a great experience.
It's like being in like an 800, right? Like
it's actually like 926 meters the whole course, but trying to run a 926 meter course with about 10,000 people running and bulls chasing you. So
you run as fast as Nick Simmons?
No, I ran as fast as Nick Aliotti.
Nice. Were you scared?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a 2,000-pound bull with big horns coming by you. But the biggest concern, honestly, is the people. So I felt like I'm good enough to get out of the way of a bull, but if there's a pile up in front of you, and the bull's not going to stop because people have piled up in front of you, and a lot of people run looking back, and that's where our strategy of being on the side didn't work because that's where all the accidents were occurring. So got out into the middle and finished up and got a chance to get into the stadium, and it was a blast.
I'd be scared.
I think if someone says they did it and they weren't scared, then they're lying.
Other than that, it was an uneventful summer off the field for you guys. Different from the past couple of years. What do you attribute that to?
I don't think it's really different than the last couple of years when you add it up, to be honest with you.
Really?
We've had 9 incidents in 3 years since I've been there. I think some of them have been high profile, but when you really look at the number of incidents there hasn't been a ton of them. So I think our kids understand what it's expected of them, and they understand how they're supposed to behave, and that playing football is a privilege, and with that privilege goes responsibility. So
I mean, none since spring ball, right? Though
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got to please you.
It should please me. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. But you don't pat them on the back because they don't get arrested. That's what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good attitude. People have been talking. I'm talking to Michael and Kenny about Kiko's influence and his influence as a leader. What have you seen? I know you can't have that much contact with the guys over the summer, but in spring, and what have you seen out of Kiko becoming a leader of the team?
I think Kiko is a great example of a kid that made a mistake and has learned from his mistake, and I think he shared that with kids at the appropriate time, and that's what I expected out of him. I don't think someone should be. He was held accountable for what he did and paid a steep price. But I think he also learned lessons from that, and his ability to share those lessons with other kids is. It's important for our young guys. You can learn from someone else going through an experience before you don't have to go through that experience yourself.
The big story of the next month is going to be the quarterback battle between Marcus and Brian. What factors do you place priority in when trying to decide who's going to be your starter? How do you make that decision?
Everything, and I don't. I think a lot's made of it, but there's competition at every position. I don't know why everybody wants to know who's the guy at this position. I think it's the nature of college football is that you're going to have players leave at certain times, and then other guys have to step up and get an opportunity to play. But I don't think it's the main focus of anybody. It's that we analyze every position on who are the guys that are going to be in our rotation on the defensive line, to who's going to play a quarterback, to who's going to play a wide receiver, and there's not one that we put more stock in than the other.
In your offense, though, is it important? Is the quarterback more important? It seems like it would be because of the offense that you guys run.
Has our quarterback been our MVP since we've been there?
Depends who you ask. What do you think?
I think there's been a lot of other MVPs. I think to be a quarterback on our offense, you have to be a point guard and you have to distribute the ball to your playmakers. And obviously you look at the impact that losing to LaMichael James, or to be honest with you, our biggest impact is what we're going to do with David Paulson. And I don't think he got enough credit. And I said it last year that the MVP of our offense was David Paulson because of the versatility he brought and the consistency that he brought to our offense. And filling the tight end role to us is just as important as trying to figure out who our quarterback's going to be.
Do you have confidence in Cole Ayerla?
I haven't seen enough to make a decision on any of those guys. It's the same thing with our quarterbacks. I think we've got great athletes to choose from at the quarterback spot. We've got great athletes to choose from at the tight end spot. But the biggest overriding factor with all those guys is none of them have experience. So,
you you have been, at least you were 4 months ago, outspoken about wanting to be able to drug test your players if you could, and now the school is looking into that. Have you had any influence in the school pushing for that, and are you involved at all in that?
No, those are decisions that are made at a different level. But I think we're following suit with what Oregon State's doing, so I know they're doing the same exact thing. I think, it's what I think everybody else in our league does. I think our state, from what I understand, was unique in that we didn't have the ability to do it, but I think the other schools in the Pac-12, we're just trying to get aligned with them.
You remain in favor of it?
Yeah.
The hot tub has been a topic of discussion the past couple of weeks. Are you excited to have a hot tub? I
don't have a hot tub.
Not in your office, but the coaches have a hot tub, right? Or is that not?
There's a wet area in the locker room between the coaches and the players. There's a wet area in the Casanova Center. I think there's a hot tub in every, or whirlpool, whatever you want to call it, in every college football facility in the country. So I don't understand the big controversy.
I don't think it's a controversy. I think
you asked the question, so you must have.
It's a controversy. I just want to know if you're excited to be able to watch film in a hot tub.
We don't have film in a hot tub.
Are you going to in 2 years?
No. This is the biggest overblown story I've ever heard in my life. I think there's a TV in the coach's locker room. We look at scores all the time. We don't have video feeds where we're watching film. This thing's good. I'm going to get Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch to read the freaking blueprints to get this thing straightened out. So
we don't have any architects on our staff.
I know. This is not a lot of architects in Eugene. So
apparently not. Thanks, Coach.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
See you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah.